Welcome to Show Me the Proof, Get to the Point, the B2B marketing podcast where we show you the proof in the form of case studies and success stories. And we get straight to the point with your hosts and founders of Proofpoint Marketing, Mike and Gabby Grinberg.
Today, we are so excited to have Johnas Street join us on the show. And this is a first for us. Johnas is not only a world-class social media marketer, he is an American Idol finalist and an actor. Johnas is a senior global social media lead at Cadence Design Systems. Johnas, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Gabby and Mike, for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Wonderful. Well, I want to take a quick 30-second clip and share with our listeners today some of your amazing, beautiful voice, if you will permit me.
Yes.
Nobody can hear you. Have your headphones on.
Oh, no.
That's not
seriously? Oh, shoot. I'm dancing. I'm listening to
That is hilarious.
Oh, no. Okay,
how will we do that?
I guess I could play it on my phone. Where's my phone? Okay. All right. Hold on.
Yeah. Or we could just put Jonathan on the spot and make him sing for everybody. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I could do that.
Man, that was a silly thing. I didn't realize that.
We are totally not cutting that out, by the way. That's Gabby
just bopping along. Okay, hold on. Johnas, I apologize.
No, it's okay.
We'll get into the marketing in a second here. We promise.
Right.
You know, everybody has to listen to your beautiful voice because you really have a beautiful voice. And so the clip that I found is called I Choose You. And is this an original song, Johnas?
Yes, it's an original song. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to play it on my phone and I'm going to blast it directly into my microphone here.
Okay.
And
Don't
hopefully
blast it too loud.
Yeah, I know. Hold on. Let's.
Background.
Yeah, that's it.
So that's just a quick little flavor of Jonas's beautiful voice and his original singing and songwriting abilities. I would love to talk more about all your art, or your artistic side, your music, and your acting. But this show is all about B2B marketing. So we're gonna dive into your other.
We take our lightning round segment and talk about that.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
But we're gonna talk today about your killer and stellar B2B marketing skills. So you are the global social media manager, and my understanding is that this is the corporate social media strategy. So you're building content to position Cadence, right, as this global leader in.
Yes.
Now I'm going to say this wrong, in computational software. Right. Yeah. Okay. So tell us a little bit about your role, and then let's dig into your campaign that you're going to share with us today.
Yeah. So here at Cadence, I lead basically from strategy, implementation to execution of our social media here locally in the U.S. and globally around the world. Cadence is a very global company. We have global partners and customers who we are very thankful for, and they've really been great folks for us. So what I've been tasked with doing is, kind of coming in and revamping our social media strategy. Kind of really understanding, okay, where do we want to go? What message are we trying to put out there to the world? How can we make it, kind of fun and exciting, but still, really serious as we are a B2B company?
And I love that. So my background is in social media marketing, and I've done both, B2C, B2B, and then also the corporate marketing strategy for a company that I used to work with. Also a Fortune 100 company. So I'm so excited to talk to you today. Well, let's dig right in. So you have this award-winning campaign, the social media campaign that you put together for Cadence. tell us, what was the pain point that you were trying to solve? What was the goal of the campaign?
Well, at the end of the day, the main goal and objective is how can we, really create this space in the social landscape of Cadence within the computational software and intelligent system design industry. And, we got to market ourselves as a leader in this space, whether it's from our products or our brand awareness, or, how do we talk to our customers? How do we talk to our consumers? How do we talk to, even our employees? Like, how can we really get across that message the easiest way possible for folks to understand? And as you and I were talking before, in this high technical industry, sometimes that's really difficult. So it's going to take things like white papers. It's going to take about 10 or 20 blogs to really get a full, complete understanding of what it is that we do in our products and how they, affect the world that we live in.
So Jonas, this is a very niche market that you're in.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the, you mentioned white papers, case studies.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming that the crux of the campaign was over social media, correct?
Correct.
So tell us some of the vehicles that you used. Tell us some of the tactics that you employed. Obviously, the strategy was for brand awareness, was for positioning the company as a thought leader. So that was the overarching strategy. But let's get into some of the tactics and some of the things that you guys actually did to get this campaign off the ground.
Yeah. So the first thing we did is as soon as I got came on board at Cadence, which was in 2019, I immediately did an audit of our social media, just our social media space, and understanding, what channels are we using, what channels are working the best for us, and what channels that maybe we can either X out, or some that we may need to put a little bit more focus on. We quickly began to find that LinkedIn is our number one social media platform for B2B social media and B2B marketing, period. And believe it or not, we found out that our most important tactic on social is not paid social, it's organic social. So that is something that I think a lot of B2B marketers and even B2C marketers need to understand. If your organic social media strategy is not up to par, the paid social doesn't matter.
Wiser words have not been said. I can't think. I got to agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
So talk about, I'd love to, you mentioned doing a social media audit. I mean, I think everybody kind of has a rough idea of what an audit looks like and what it entails, but
right.
What is it more tactically? What is it that you looked at? What kind of metrics did you look at? And I don't know if there's any tools that you used, but more specific, sort of how did you narrow in on the fact that, hey, yep, LinkedIn's the way to go and we need to focus on organic?
Yeah, I think the first thing, when you're doing an audit, you got to understand I was new to Cadence. So in the program before me, it was, how do I say, just kind of like on autopilot a little bit. It wasn't really like a real focus. And that right there is, along with organic social media, you have to have like this keen focus on, what it is your company does, I guess the audience your customer your company talks to on social, and then where are they? We, believe it or not, we found out that most of our audience is in India. Believe it or not, in India, most of our audience is in India. So sometimes overnight we get a inflection of likes and engagement, throughout the night. And that's what I started to understand. Okay, we have a huge audience in the US, and our next biggest audience is in India. And most of those folks that we've seen, they engage with us on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. And lately, I guess over 2020, I would say Twitter has become a really high engaging social media platform for us, overtaking Facebook. Although we have more followers and likes on our Facebook page, we're getting more engagement on our Twitter page. Mm-hmm. It could be because of, the different, issues that Facebook had happened throughout the year. I don't know. But we have seen that Twitter is starting to get our second most engaging platform.
I am really interested in I have a couple of questions I want to dive into. So it's very interesting to me that that you've been able to identify, okay, LinkedIn and Twitter are our two priority platforms.
Right.
So I have a question. This is kind of the $1 million question here, Jonas. In social media world, especially coming from the backgrounds that you and I have as being, social media marketers,
Mm-hmm.
there was this notion in the past that you have to be on everything, right? You got to be on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
I remember those times.
Right? Remember those times? Remember
Yeah.
those times where we're like, oh my God, we have to repurpose this content. We got to change it. We got to do this. We got to cut it for YouTube. We got to cut it for Instagram, yada, yada. We got to make it vertical, make it horizontal. I mean, all the things, right?
Right.
But now,
Gabby's about to have a really bad flashback here.
But well, yeah, I've had nightmares before, but now I'm no longer doing that, so it's all right. What I'm seeing, and I think you have just kind of corroborated this, is that companies are now really laser focusing on the channels that are going to be the most effective. So I have a question: are you posting anything on Facebook these days?
We are. At one point, we was posting some, webinars, signups, but wasn't getting much engagement. But we found that on Facebook, the best type of engagement that we see is when it's something dealing with life at Cadence, or a holiday, or
so more culture of the company.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we've kind of leaned more towards that over there on Facebook.
That's awesome. I like that you're sharing that with us, and that you've made that distinction in your social media content, because that allows you now to kind of prioritize what content goes where, rather than blasting everything everywhere. You can be more strategic with your engagement and with your content. One other question that I have, and this was, so I probably can't say who I worked for, even though I'm no longer employed there. I'm a business owner, but I won't say the name. It's a big box store based in the Minneapolis area. They have a red bullseye for a sign. I won't say the name. I used to work in their social media department, and one of the things that was a real challenge was comments. The management of the engagement, and and you mentioned India, and so they're way ahead in terms of their hours, right? So I think when we're daytime, they're nighttime. Is that correct? Something like that.
Correct.
So do you have a strategy in place, or how do you manage the volume of engagement that you have overseas? Do you have managers that work overnight? Do you have people based in India? How do you manage that?
So luckily, we do have people based in India.
Okay.
And we meet, I would say, maybe twice a month, to go over these type of strategies and crisis management, community engagement, those type of things. So our team is really well equipped.
Awesome. Well, I would not expect anything less. Well, let's. So we talked about the audit. We talked a little bit about the channels that you've now identified as being your priority channels, and kind of the strategy of content that goes across those channels. Let's talk specifically about the awareness campaign, and kind of tell us what were some of, if you can share some of the metrics that you were looking at, just gauging what were you looking for in terms of success. How were you measuring success? And then talk to us a little bit about, again, some of the vehicles that you use. You mentioned white papers, case studies. You said organic content has been your biggest driver.
Yes.
Let's dig in. Let's get some more details on the campaign.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the campaign, we wanted to increase our objective was also brand awareness, but also increasing traffic on our website. We had just did a complete overhaul on our website, cadence.com, a complete overhaul. So if we went through all this work and time and resources to redo our website, we need to get people to our website, right? So throughout this campaign, typically, we would do video in feed. That's just a video that's showing as while you're scrolling. But we went away from that and took a photo of the executive or of the person who's speaking, and we had that photo, and then we sent them through I would say a gated link where they can sign up to read the white paper, sign up to view, the different type of content that they need to see. And this is a way for us to really capture who's coming to our stuff, who's seeing it, where are they, and what can we offer them in return. If there's some, if there's a business reason that they may need or whatnot. So we started that. That was pretty effective. So one, gated, I would say gated links. And I'm sure your audience may know what gated links are, but if not, a gated link is when before they can view the blog or the white paper, or before they can sign up for the free webinar, they need to input the information.
So and you primarily executed that on LinkedIn, you said? Yes,
LinkedIn and Twitter.
And Twitter, okay.
Yes, LinkedIn and Twitter. The good thing about Twitter that we found out is, there's so many different engagement tactics that you can use for Twitter. You can do a thread. You can quote a tweet and put a video in that quote or a picture in that quote. This thing you can keep going. So we saw that was pretty pretty effective as well, because you can keep them on one tweet, engaging with an entire story. So I think that's a good tactic, that business social folks can use in the marketing as well.
So I'm curious.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is all being executed through corporate social channels, right? Was there any involvement from individuals, be it executives or SMEs and things like that, as part of this campaign to get kind of leveraging their networks?
Yes. What we found that our most engaged content happened when we used an executive.
On LinkedIn or Twitter?
On both.
Oh,
both,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. In B2B, other businesses, they want to buy from a business if they believe in the leaders, right? The leaders, they really have to come in and say, our product does this. Our product can get you to here. Our product can take your company and go there. So they want to know from the executives who in these high places, like the CEOs, the presidents, the VPs and whatnot. They want to know what product that they have. How can it help them? How can it best benefit their business? And with that, after I saw the success of that, I said, okay, hey, now that we've done these white papers and we've done these blogs, how about let's get these executives on video? Let's do 30 seconds to a minute, and really turn that blog into a video, or turn that thought leadership link article into a video. And that's the next process in our strategy that we're going to be executing here.
On
the enterprise side, that makes complete sense. So are they? But again, so you've done the videos, but are the videos being disseminated through the corporate channels, or are the executives themselves also disseminating them through their personal, like LinkedIn and whatnot?
Yeah, believe it or not, we just had an executive put up an article, a LinkedIn article, and we are then going to actually share that from our corporate handle.
So let's dig into that, because that
I'm
for the vast majority of companies, that is always a challenge. How the heck do you get these busy executives to go and either write something, or even if you ghostwrite it for them, how do you get them to actually go and post it? Because I don't know, I'm going to make this up. It's not a real stat, but 99% of them are not actually using LinkedIn. They're not even on social. They're barely.
Well, maybe Jonas has some stats on that specifically.
I don't have stats, but I will tell you this. Those executives, they are busy, as we all know. But what I've told them, and this is a part of my strategy as well, I put in there, I had an executive strategy in the social media campaign. I'm sorry, I had an executive strategy within our social media overall strategy. And what I wanted them to do is focus on only one platform. Don't worry about, multiple platforms. Focus on only one platform that you are most vocal on, and you can be, be heard. And for the most part, I would say 100% are on LinkedIn. Our company isn't, our executives don't really do much on Twitter, and it's okay. They don't have to be there right now. Eventually they may want to get there, but right now it's fine. LinkedIn is where they are. So that's where we will, take the information. And that's what we've done. We just focus on one channel.
So I want to dig into that some more in terms of.
I want to dig into it too, Mike. So give me some time to get in here.
Okay, well you can go first then.
I can go first because this is like speaking my language. I worked at two big corporate offices here in the Twin Cities, with Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies.
Okay.
And same thing, executives are busy. They don't want to spend time on LinkedIn. They either they don't want to, or they don't know how, and they don't want to admit that they don't know how.
Right.
So did you face the challenge of having to train executives? Like, was that something that you had to do, and kind of how did you get around that pain point?
Absolutely. Like I said, when I first came in, that was part of my social strategy, my overhaul. I took about a month and put together this huge strategy for the overall Cadence campaign, the Cadence social media strategy. And that was executives. That was, the different products that we use, the different verticals, 5G, AI, machine learning, aerospace and defense, automotive. Really just looking at, okay, what products do we have in these spaces? Who's the most knowledgeable of these products in these spaces? How can we get them to write a blog, to do a video, or, so that was just basically me understanding.
So let's take an example. Like, I don't know if you have a specific one in mind, but like, how did you go about getting whatever, say I don't know if the CEO has done anything, but whoever the highest level executives.
The highest level, I would say VP phone call, believe it or not.
you just literally, you call them up and say, hey, we're doing this thing. We need you to write an article on XYZ, or how to talk us through the process. Like, because obviously this needs to be scaled across whatever, 15, 20 executives, across a bunch of content.
Right. So I work on the PR team. So the PR and the social team is kind of like in one. And what we do is we have these meetings, we have these weekly meetings, and we talk about, okay, how can we get executive thought leadership out there?
Mm-hmm.
Executive thought leadership is our number one social media, strategy, period. Executive thought leadership, whether it's a blog, a video, or just an image in their quotes, because they have such a huge following, or they've been in this space for 20 something years. So they got like all these connects, right? And people look up to them. So we got to use that to our advantage. Sometimes the posts coming from their, like Mike said, sometimes the posts coming from their channels is more effective than it coming from the corporate channel,
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm wondering, Jonas, are there other executives, or maybe not even related, not necessarily competitors to Cadence, but just other B2B marketing leaders or executives on LinkedIn that you're like, wow, this company or this group of people, they're killing it. Like, did you have a role model in mind when you were working with your execs?
Not necessarily a role model. I don't know if you've been on Twitter lately, but there's this thing called marketing Twitter. It came out of the woodworks during 2020. And, because typically you would go to conferences, right? But you can't go that. So marketing Twitter became like this online conference, this online like community, and it's where people are sharing all types of information, and it's I'm like, man, this stuff is free, It's right there on Twitter, and I actually became part of I became part of it, I would say, towards the end of last year. And I just, been meeting with so many different professionals in the marketing space, and they're sharing things left and right, man. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
So is it a specific Twitter handle, or is it, what is it exactly?
So it started off with this hashtag marketing Twitter, then it kind of blew up, but then now marketing Twitter got tired of using the hashtag because when it blew up the initial time, like everybody was just following everyone. We were just following everyone, right? And now we don't really use the hashtag marketing Twitter. And a lot of people have actually muted those words
Oh.
because it kind of like went beyond what we actually planned it to be. But that's where we are. We're just on Twitter, and we all follow each other now. So we all are, sharing different things that work for us, different things that did not work for us. And that's really where we are getting a lot of our information. As you know, YouTube is also another great source of information.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think Elon Musk said his kids learn from YouTube and and GitHub or something like that. He said.
I think all our kids are learning on YouTube these days, right?
Right.
We have a 5-year-old, and I think that's her primary source of education.
Right.
Better or for worse.
Right. Exactly, Mike.
Well, we know that there are some things that you can and can't say. So we know you have to be delicate in terms of the some of the numbers that came out of this campaign. So we won't ask you that question.
Yes.
But I want to know, in terms of the success, what was the internal reaction to the campaign? Is it still ongoing? And what has been the feedback, both internally from your internal stakeholders, as well as from current and hopefully prospective clients that have been brought through the door from this campaign? Can you share, at least anecdotally, some feedback on the campaign?
Yeah, I have some initial feedback, even like from executives. One, the executives, they, believe it or not, enjoyed doing what they were doing. Enjoyed teaching, and I guess they felt like it was a way of doing it for the company, but also getting out of their shell and being more vocal in that space. And they also spoke to me and said that they were really proud of the work that was put into the campaign and put into it, from external point of view. Internally, I would say, like I said, when I came in and I did the total revamp, they've told me that the social media program looks like a total 360 than it was before. And I told them when I first joined Cadence, I told them like 3 things that I want to do. I told them I was going to be consistent, I was going to be social, and I want to humanize our social media. Because before I got there, it was just all these pictures of circuit boards and PCB boards and all this and all that, just from a technical standpoint. And a lot of times people don't understand what they're seeing, even though they may be at another business buying these things. A lot of times they don't know what it looks like sometimes, So what I said, let's put the people who are in charge of these products in there, as opposed to just the image of the products. And as soon as we did that, we just immediately, I'm talking about, I kid you not, immediately saw our engagement like shoot through the roof. Because our engagement, when I got there, the baseline for LinkedIn, our baseline for engagement was 0.5%.
Wow.
Yeah, that's our
Wow.
baseline. But as soon as I got there, we took it up to literally 2%. And now we average around, I would say, 2.5% of engagement on LinkedIn.
That's fantastic. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And it's all, like, as you know, social media is people. It's people. You got to be social.
Well, and at the end of
Just
the
to
day,
give everybody a sense of scale too. So I mean, Cadence, I'm looking at LinkedIn here. I mean, it looks like it's almost 8,000 employees, and you got 100 and almost 82,000 followers on LinkedIn. So the reach is fairly large. But if you're saying, hey, our engagement was, what'd you say, 0.8, 0.05? What was it?
Well, like our engagement baseline was 0.5.
Yeah.
0.5%. And we had about, I would say, 120. We had less than 120 followers when I started, and now we're approaching 200,000 now.
There we go. So we got.
so say those numbers again. 1,200 followers, and now it's bumped up to 200,000.
No, I'm sorry.
sorry.
So we have, when I started, we had about, I would say, 120,000 or so followers when I started there.
Okay.
But now we are at 180, a little bit over 180, and we should hit 200 here in the next few months.
And that's just on LinkedIn.
That's about a 50% increase over.
Over 12 months.
Over 12 months.
12
Exactly.
months. That's phenomenal. And it's clearly a testament to those three things that you said consistency,
consistency,
being social, and humanizing the brand.
humanizing the brand.
Those
Exactly.
are three brilliant and beautiful statements, and that seems to capture what you really tried to do, and the results speak for themselves. A significant increase in engagement and a 50% increase in your followers on LinkedIn. So kudos to you, Jonas.
I know you can't talk about it, but I'm pretty sure there was an impact on the bottom line there somewhere too.
You know, I would say this, since this is public news, I would say the stock market within the past year has gone up a little bit over 100%, I would say.
Wow.
I can tell you right now. Hold on.
So,
well, we have to. You've showed us the proof. Now we have to get to the. We have to get to the point.
Exactly.
We got to get to the point.
There's lots of companies out there, lots of executives that know what they're talking about, but as we talked about, most of them don't do it. So if there's somebody else in your position, or director of marketing or something like that wants to put out a executive thought leadership campaign to really drive up social engagement, etc.
Right.
What do they need to do? What's tactically, what does that look like?
Well, first they should show them the proof, show them that it actually works, show them that in B2B marketing, B2B social media, the most important person for your campaign is going to be your executives. So show them that proof. As you know, executives, they like to see proof before you go do something. So show them that. And then after you show them, you say, hey, this is going to be good for you, your brand, and also the brand of the company. So it's a win-win situation.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit, again, getting to the point for others in a similar position as you, what were some of the tools that you used? What, did you, in terms of creating content, how did you go about doing that? Did you have a content partner? Is everything created in-house? Kind of give us some of the tips and tricks that you use to get the campaign off the ground.
Yeah, I think it took a lot of just research on my part, researching what other people are doing in the B2B space. If I saw a video, I would, save that link and just go back and look at it later. If I saw, an image or a graphic or just or a GIF, is it GIF or GIF? I'm not sure.
GIF, yeah.
Yeah,
it was a hard G.
Yeah, right. If I saw an animation that I liked, I just, all these different things, and I would just have this huge folder on my desktop. Believe it or not, I just got this huge folder of just creative ideas from what I've seen that I like, and even it may not have been in B2B space. So I've taken some stuff from consumer space, in the way like product placement, like all these different things. I think when you think about it, for me, coming from entertainment to B2B social media, I have this thing that I say a lot. I say I want to make B2B social media sexy. So that's why, and that's what I do, man. I just like to think outside the box, because at the end of the day, if you're selling to another business, that still is a person behind that.
Absolutely.
So you gotta make it personable.
So it sounds like, if I'm reading between the lines, one of the tools that you did in terms of your research was to create a visual board, right? Some sort of a visual board, and that helped you to sell it to your exec team, would you say?
Yep, I took that to my exec team, to my internal team here in the PR and social media team, and then we took it also to the internal creative team. We do all of our creative in-house.
Okay.
For the most part.
And now, were you writing all the content, or do you have a writing team?
So I write, as far as social media, I do all social media content. Like blogs, I write some blogs, but for the most part, I work with my PR team, and we would ghost write for some of our executives, or then they were right, and then we would just go back and edit those type of things. So it's pretty that part is pretty standard.
Pretty straightforward. Okay. Yeah. So were there any other tools that you would recommend? Obviously, in your case, we're talking about a large corporation, multinational, international company. So you probably have access to some really high-powered tools. What were some of the social media tools or platforms that you were using?
Yeah, we use Adobe Analytics. We use Google Analytics. And the reason we use those is because social listening is really important. Like I talked to you and Mike about before when I did the audit. I was able to use those social listening tools to see what, what's been said about Cadence. Where are we at, from a share of voice, in these different verticals, which is 5G, AI, uh, aerospace and defense, and automotive. And yeah, so that was basically it. Just doing that, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, Jonas, you have showed us the proof, and you've gotten us to the point. So thank you so much. Now we're going to go to our lightning round. Mike, do you want to take us through the lightning round?
So question number 1, what's the main KPI you use to evaluate marketing success?
Engagement rate.
All right. What's a new marketing strategy or tactic that you're looking forward to testing out this year?
Short video form.
Okay.
What's a tool or platform you use in your work that you couldn't live without?
Sprout Social.
What is your least favorite business word or phrase?
I don't know.
What's your favorite?
I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. So let's change that question. Let's ask you this instead. Who is your greatest musical influence?
Musical influence, I would say Sam Cooke.
Sam Cooke. Okay. Okay. I thought you were going to tell me because listening to your music, I was really picking up, Marvin Gaye. I was picking up.
Marvin Gaye and Sam Cooke are my favorite.
Okay. Okay.
I was going to say Marvin Gaye, but.
Oh, okay. So I'm right on the money there. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
You are. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, what's your favorite podcast?
Proofpoint.
Okay.
I think we may need to change these questions every single time. People.
They always say that.
Everybody goes for the flattery right away.
But that's okay.
Which is funny, but I think it's going to stop being funny after it's 15 times in a row.
15 times, yeah. You want to know? I would say my favorite podcast. I honestly, I don't have a favorite podcast.
Okay, that's cool. Who's your favorite contemporary musician or artist?
Usher.
Usher. Oh, okay. Like that.
When I had a record deal, I opened for him.
Wow, that's awesome.
I had a record deal at the age of 15, and my band. I was in a boy band. Yes, I was in a boy band. And
nice.
We opened for Usher in Atlanta, Georgia.
That's awesome. What an amazing experience. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
So do you have a favorite business or marketing book?
I wouldn't say if it's a business or marketing book, but I do have this book here. It's called The Journey is the Reward. It's by Steve Jobs. And the reason why I like that book is because that is kind of like this, like my slogan that I live by for my life is the journey is the reward. So you go through life. I'm from a small family of 10. My mama had 10 kids. I'm from Mississippi, and I grew up, with very, very humble beginnings. My father passed away before I was born. He passed away a month before I was born, actually.
Wow.
My mom was 8 months pregnant with me, and then he passed away. I was born the next month. But I think about all these different things that I've gone through in my life, and to where I am now. But the most important aspect of all of that is the journey, like the journey from starting where I started to where I am now, and then who knows where I'd be, 5-10 years from now. So just really being lost in the moment, understanding that the journey is the reward, not the outcome, but the overall journey.
That's awesome. And so you not only are you a multi-hyphenate singer, actor, social media, you're also an inspirational speaker too.
Add that to the resume.
Yeah.
Add that to the resume. All right, last question here. Well, potentially last question, depending on how you answer this.
Right.
Who is your favorite or just a B2B marketing expert that you admire on LinkedIn?
It's a few. I know.
Or Twitter, since you're into the
whole,
you're
on Twitter too,
marketing thing.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's kind of like I don't really have like a person per se, because a lot of times I don't really like know names, and I don't really like just follow people in that sense. I'm more along the lines follow the content.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, definitely makes sense.
I know it's not a good answer, but
No, that's okay. Is there a B2B company that you really admire their content? Okay, no worries.
I don't even know if I can say this or not, but I'm not gonna say it then.
Okay. All right. Well, we won't pressure you then.
Yeah.
Well, Jonas, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Thank you for sharing your case study and kind of what you've done with Cadence, coming into the company in 2019 and really revamping total 180 of their social media, and the results have been pretty significant. And what's exciting, which you shared with us, is that now you're taking all the learnings from this campaign and you're going to be turning that into interactive videos with each of the department heads at your company and the executives, which is great. So we will look forward to seeing your success on LinkedIn and Twitter. So tell us, what is the best way for our listeners to connect with you?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, Johnas Street. I'm on Twitter at Johnas_Street. The same across Instagram as well.
And if people want to hear more of your music, where should they go?
You can go to my SoundCloud, which is Johnas Street. You can find me on SoundCloud. And I do have new music that I am going to be working on here and releasing hopefully this year or next year.
Well,
Awesome.
that is phenomenal. I'm going to definitely be looking forward to that. So B2B marketer, ladies and gentlemen, actor, singer, songwriter, releasing an album, and he's a father of 3, and 2 of which are twins. So you are a busy fellow. Thank you for taking the time to join us on the podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to the Show Me the Proof, Get to the Point podcast. Join us weekly for new episodes and seriously smart B2B marketing success stories. We'll show you the proof and get to the point every time. Find additional resources on the Proofpoint website, www.proofpoint.marketing, including the full episode library with show notes, guides, templates, and more great resources. If you like this episode, don't forget to subscribe, and please leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts.